Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in, everybody. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
This is once again Victory Sunday. Warren Childs, what's up, my man? How you doing this morning? DM49, you said I'm late, man. Hey, listen, man. We were actually supposed to come on. I actually mentioned yesterday, I was kind of hit on the spot, but we had to get some time straight, so I came on earlier. Listen, man, how's everybody doing today, man? Listen, I hope everybody is having a blessed one, man. Uh, Brian, what's up, my man? What's up? What's up? J1, what's the word?
Oh, you know what time it is.
What's the word?
What what sounds better than 9-1? 10-1.
It's 10-1. Absolutely.
Happy Victory Sunday.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. We want to give a big shout out to Martin C. Bean. He says my birthday, man. Hey, what a gift, man. I'm telling you, man, this is an absolute gift. I'm telling you, I really don't know where to begin. There's so many storylines in this game. And I think I heard, I can't remember who I was listening to talking. They said this is probably the best Rose Bowl that they've seen. Man, let's talk about that for a second. Estimate, in your estimation, what do you think? Best Rose Bowl that you've seen so far? I mean, in a while, or I know that Penn State when Juju Smith and Dory Jackson, man, I love that was a thriller too with Sam Donald, man. But
yeah, it
this
was.
game here is it's incredible.
Yeah, man, I got happy feet. My spirit is just uplifted. I'm feeling jubilant. I'm joyful. You know, I was a little restless. I didn't really even get to sleep until like something around 2 a.m. because my wife and I, after the game, we decided to go out and listen to some live music, listen to some live funk jazz, and we was just having a good time. I'm talking about like we really celebrated. We celebrated last evening, and it was supposed to be that way because there's just so much history involved with these matchups, and for this to be confirmed, the 50th official win in the rivalry. That was a huge 50th anniversary win. It couldn't have come on a bigger stage with two quarterbacks who you saw their determination was just completely unmatched. Both of those men, DTR and our very own Heisman, in my opinion, front runner, Caleb
Oh
Williams,
my God.
they put the team on their shoulders.
Absolutely.
Not only that, but we saw them both overcome adversity. We saw them both take critical hits. We saw them both find guys. It was just as simply. You hear me use this term, but when you really think about it, it truly is. It was just two very heroic efforts.
Yeah.
It was two very superhuman, extraordinary efforts to make this game as competitive as it was. And with that being said, shout out to both sides of the war. I don't think that there were any actual losers in this game. There was just one person or one team rather who became victorious with a W. But everybody won.
Absolutely. That was, the media won, the teams won. I mean, all the players won. I mean, from both sides of the field, they both showed that they, all of them were major competitors, man. Let me address this real quick. Big Black, I said 12:30. You're right, man. It was a conflict of schedule. So if you notice, I went on my YouTube page and I posted a post stating that we're going to start a little early today. I did that on my YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. So my apologies, man. I just wanted to get that straight. Straight, man. But as to your point, man.
Can I double down on that?
I can't hear you.
Can I double down on what
you
just said?
Yeah.
Okay, so hey, family, I take full responsibility for the schedule change. So customarily, Big Brother USCJ and I, we have our schedule locked in, and we stick to it as best we can, God willing. But today, I'm a real estate professional, so that's what I do as my full-time career outside of coaching. And I happen to have an open house this afternoon that begins at 1 p.m. So 12:30 would not have allowed me to be able to be with you guys. So we made some moves. We had to wiggle some things. But like if I should show you, I'm gonna show you. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second right here. Right.
Yeah, man. So John, I mean, he's good to go, man. We just we started a little early, man. And listen, man, we got to talk. We're gonna talk about this game. This game was so big time on so many levels. And the storyline that really comes to mind first, I guess, sometimes the last impression is sometimes what sticks in your mind. How can we just, and this is to D. D made a comment here, talking about Corey Foreman. Corey
So
Foreman.
yeah, man. So I'm gonna show my little suit, that I got from my open house today. That's happening.
So he got that to do right after this.
Yeah, right after this. So you guys, you see the color, right? This is my UCLA funeral color. That's all that is, man. No disrespect.
So that's why we coming a little early, man. He has to do that, and so we get into these storylines, man. And one of the storylines that I guess the last impression was the Corey Foreman thing, man. John, let's talk about him real quick, and then we're gonna move to the offense. Then we can move back to the defense. But I guess the last impression, because what he did was so big on so many levels. It was big for his confidence. It was big for the USC fan base to understand that we still do have the number one player. And as we've been alluding to these past few weeks, we've been talking about this. You said it on so many different occasions, talking about Corey, that let him come into his own. He's going to be okay. And a lot of people were putting him down, man. I mean, a lot of people. And we told you guys, we said, look, these guys are in a learning curve. This is a new defense. They got it. Let's speak to that real quick, John. What's your thoughts on Corey coming up like that?
Congratulations, Corey. You know how many conversations you and I have had in passing, and your competitive spirit, I don't believe has ever failed you or has ever diminished. So for you to stand strong in a moment such as that, with it in that stage, with that spotlight, under that level of pressure and scrutiny, where the coaches, you've earned the right through your consistency, your practice, your productivity in training. You've earned the right to be on the field in that critical moment with the game on the line. That in and of itself needs to let you know in what regards our coaching staff holds him in. That in and of itself needs to let you know how he's been trending upward. And these last few weeks, since he's come back from his injury after the bye week, he's been playing very sound football. Stats are not an indicator of your productivity. Sometimes the best defensive linemen don't get stats because they're controlling so much of the field that it forces everything away from them. And I will tell you the truth about that. But here's what I saw. I know Corey, he used big vision in that moment. He didn't get tunnel vision. He started up as a stand-up rush in on that final play. He buzzed out to the flat and ran with that the wheel route that was coming out. And then he broke back in and undercut the tight end, or well, it looked like the tight end, but it was Bobo. And that was the same play that they intercepted us with. The same thing. The linebacker did a very similar drop, and then he flashed underneath our underneath route and got the pick. So the pick that we accidentally threw early in the game was the same type of play and pick that we got when Corey made the game-winning, sealed the deal, legendary. That play is going to be spoken about in history. He immortalized himself. He immortalized himself in that game. So
absolutely.
Big ups to you, Corey Foreman. Big ups to you, Trojan defense.
Absolutely.
Did what you were supposed to do. Contributions from top to bottom.
Absolutely, man. He read that play the whole time with his eyes, man. And you could I went back and seen it. You could see him literally drop back like you were talking about and make that move, man. I mean, it was an unbelievable play. Yeah. And, man, I guess we need to stay on the defense for a minute. We can get on the offense.
Yeah. Did you hear Shane Lee? Did you hear Shane Lee said it, man? I just had to make sure that Corey knew what we was doing on that play. So he said, I had to holler at, hey, Corey, man. He said, Corey gave me that look like, I got you. Don't
hey, man, I'm telling you, man, I think last week, I'm telling you, man, listen, last week, I'm lost I'm lost in the sauce right now, man. I mean, I'm all the way lost in the sauce. I'm telling you, because last week I said, I made reference to these guys coming together, having I think this is close to a complete game. Sure, they had some yardage or whatever, but do you guys realize that we pretty much, I'm not going to say all the way shut down Charbonnet. Let me see his yardage. But Charbonnet wasn't going crazy like he did before, like he did in recent times, man. And this was a complete, in my opinion, more of a complete game than we've seen in a long time from USC, man. What's your thoughts on that, John? Because we had Sean Lee, we've had Mekhi Blackman, we've had so many guys, man, step up, and it was unbelievable.
Oh yeah. So you knew, I felt like all game long, Tyrone Taleni's motor was on fire all game.
Yeah.
I saw him just being disruptive. You saw Tuli doing everything under God's beautiful sky to make this game happen. He was doing everything, taking on double teams. He was swimming. He was I'm talking about fighting to the bitter end. I saw Shane Lee with the quickest foot speed that I've seen him have all season long.
Absolutely.
I mean, sideline to sideline, he was coming to hunt down ball carriers.
Yeah.
I saw Eric Gentry on one flat tire play and display his heart for the times that he was.
Yeah, he came in for a brief second.
Man, you knew he wasn't even close to being 100%.
Right. But he tried though.
But not only that, but in the times that he was in, his length was still able to disrupt, and they did not go to his side. It let me know that that's exactly his presence is needed. I saw Max Williams, who we thought wasn't going to be.
I thought it wasn't even going to. Yeah, I was surprised.
I loved it. He showed up, and he played a very consistent game.
Very.
Talk about our corners, who really did a good job on the outside all game long. Mekhi Blackman with another clutch interception in this rivalry in his senior season.
He jumped the heck out of that ball, man. He jumped that route.
It's too bad we couldn't reward him with some points on the board for that. But I believe we could have put up 56 to 60 points in this game.
Well, we're going to talk about that because we left 14 points on the board. Let's just call it.
You're right.
Let's just call it what it is because we were down in the red zone.
We'll talk about that when we get to
And so
I'm excited. Congratulations, Coach Grinch. I don't care.
Hey, let me tell you something. I love Coach Grinch. I don't care what nobody has to say. I don't care. Hey, man, I've been trying to listen. I told you guys that he improved Oklahoma defense by 100 yards. His defense is a defense that confuses people, man. The shift and all the different things. And you seen that yesterday. You seen DTR was in some cases he was absolutely lost in the sauce. It's not taking nothing away from him. I love DTR as a player. He's a heck of a runner. And you guys remember last week when we were on this live and I told you guys, I said our defense is more suited for a big running back opposed to a scat back. And you seen him. Charbonnet went for 19 carries, 95 yards. He usually goes for 100 and some yards.
Yes.
We contained Charbonnet like I said we were going to contain him. John, speak to that, man.
Man, Charbonnet's a thumper and a bumper, man.
A thumper and a bumper.
Hey, he can go, man. He's an NFL prototypical back, man. You know, he's like a Saquon Barkley without that second level gear. But he plays very much like that. So for us to have so many hats on him, he did not kill us with yak. He did not kill us with yards after contact. More than anything, he wasn't rushing the ball very well. He was catching check downs.
Yes.
He did not run through us. He did not run through our defensive line.
The game tackling was beautiful, man.
And everybody came to the party, man. You saw little Sierra running in there. He space jamming. I was like, yeah, hey, throw your helmet in there, man. Everybody was in there having a good time, partying by the football. I'm surprised with how hard those hits were in this game that there weren't more fumbles. I'm really shocked by that.
Yeah.
But the defensive scheme that we had.
Oh, that was beautiful.
I'm going to tell you, you can see how actually skilled the defensive scheme was. You can see it. The issue is you still have to execute. The issue is you still can't lose your eyes. The issue is you still got to make that tackle. The issue is you still got to, the timing, everything has to be right. And then when you are we had so much great coverage in this game that it allowed for DTR to run as much as he did.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about him. He went 14 carries for 80 81 yards.
And
And so
that,
Charbonnet went for 91, DTR went for 81.
that's actually a byproduct of having everything locked up in the back.
Yeah.
And then having a quarterback that's faster than the backer that's spying him. So
Yeah.
those are those off-platform, out of schedule plays that make DTR so dangerous. That's why the future of the NFL, as you see it, is a bunch of quarterbacks who move just like the quarterbacks that UCLA and USC has. That's why when you look at the top quarterbacks in the NFL, they all have a prototype. There's an archetype of the guys. They all are elusive. They all have run and pass threat ability, and they all have second level opportunity with their feet when the defensive coverage is sound. That's the future. These two quarterbacks are operating in the future. I just believe our quarterback has a lot more arm accuracy, arm talent. The arm talent is different.
Right, way different.
DTR's grit, his tenacity, his perseverance, endurance, all that stuff, those are intangibles that you would just wish you could infuse your favorite quarterback with that stuff.
Absolutely.
He has inside of him. And I think our quarterback has a lot of it as well.
Absolutely.
As a true sophomore, and I think it was his birthday.
It was his birthday. It was his birthday. Happy birthday, happy belated birthday, Caleb. I know that's the best birthday present you ever had, man. Yesterday, that was incredible.
Hey, little bro, Heisman.
I mean, he is the high. Oh, let's speak to that real quick. Well, we're not gonna deal with it all the way, but North Carolina lost. Of course, you guys know Drake May was supposed to be. They were trying to pump him up to be the high. They lost to Georgia Tech 20-17. Tennessee got absolutely obliterated yesterday. That 63-35. I think Heaton Hookers, he's lost in the sauce. He's out of it now. And who else was in it?
CJ Stroud. Did he even throw for 100 yards?
No, he was kind of suspect yesterday as well.
4 weeks in a row that CJ Stroud has had a very underwhelming.
Listen, if Caleb is not ahead of this thing tomorrow, I got a major problem. Listen, I might have to drive my car to every network myself.
The running back from Michigan, he's out.
He's out, and I think he got hurt, and I hope he gets better.
I hope he's okay, but at the same time, like I'm seeing everything that we said about November coming into fruition.
It's happening.
November is the separation season. November is it's the time of the year where you find out who's really with it. And I saw 4 top 10 teams, pretty much, with the exception of Ohio State at the very end because they got a weird tip fumble pass and scored. But the top 4 teams pretty much won each game with no time on the clock by under 4 points.
Right. TCU almost lost that game, man, big time.
Against unranked opponents. I saw unranked Baylor come in and give TCU more than they can handle.
And unranked South Carolina blew out Tennessee.
Unranked Illinois.
Now watch them try to rank South Carolina in the top 25, and you know they had a bad record.
They really are. And I saw Michigan almost literally get strangled to death out there by the Illini, by Illinois, who again are unranked. Listen, don't let these people shift your mindset and force you to bite on this fool's gold that all these other conferences, all these other teams are playing such tough schedules. Michigan, I believe, has the worst, one of the worst.
They are terrible. Terrible.
They have not shown me the productivity and the shootouts and all the stuff that we do over here on this side of the country. I don't got nothing negative to say about no teams. All I'm saying is give us credit. Give us credit for what we do on this part of the country. Not only that, but I heard a very reputable analyst, multiple of them actually, 3 to 4 of them say any team that can put up or gets 50 points put on them, that's just not a good football team.
Crazy, man.
I heard them say any football score that's in the 50s and 60s, well, that's just not good football because it's not basketball. I've heard them say it's not basketball.
Right.
This is football, and all those scores on the West Coast, they don't play any defense. What? That whole game last night was defensive.
It really was, man. It was just high-powered offenses, man. That's what people got to understand.
I'm looking at defenses straining and struggling and fighting and pushing and clawing and bleeding to get to the ball. The fact of the matter is the offenses are so sophisticated and the athletic ability of these offensive weapons down here are phenomenal. are phenomenal. And it is hard to game plan against these types of talented athletes and offensive schemes. So
Absolutely.
I don't want to hear nothing. USC needs to be right there in the top 4, having a conversation.
We need to be. Absolutely.
Because CJ Stroud, they can't even throw the ball.
They're so suspect, man. They are so suspect. The more I look at this season, the more suspect they look to me.
And that's what it's looking like. And I don't this game in Michigan and Ohio State next week is gonna be weird. We still got to handle Notre Dame, but at the same time, they need to finally say, okay, well, we need to stop talking crap because the USC offense put up over 600 yards of total offense last night.
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Man, that's crazy, man.
Ohio State
no other team has done that to them this year.
I think Ohio State did that in like 2.5 games.
Yeah.
It took them 2.5 games to put up 600 yards of offense. And our quarterback alone attested for 502.
508 yards? Is it 508?
Talk to him, Heisman.
Talk to him.
That's better than Carson Palmer's Heisman year, and I love Carson. That's better than Matt Leiner's Heisman year, and I love Matt Leiner. When Reggie Bush won the Heisman, it's because he put up 500 yards against Fresno State. Give Caleb Williams that trophy. Let's go.
Give him the trophy, man, and give Reggie Bush his trophy back. Let me say that. And man, so we're still on the defense, and we're gonna move to the offense. But it's some key things that I've seen. Of course, the Corey Foreman thing, we dealt with that. One of the other things that I absolutely love, Tyrone Taleni coming up there, making a big stick, causing a fumble. I mean, when you're talking about a full circle defensive effort coming from Corey Foreman at the end, coming from Tyrone Taleni, coming from Thule. I mean, you look all across the board. All these guys are doing stuff, man. I'm like, I mean, my head is on swivel because I'm looking at everybody right now. And I was so excited for what the enthusiasm that they were feeding off of each other. And man, it was incredible. What you think?
It's called periodization. It's where you stack one step at a time until you climb to the top of the pyramid. It's where you put all these small efforts together, game by game, bit by bit, piece by piece, scrap by scrap. And then eventually when you finish, you have this really amazing looking puzzle and you put it all together piece by piece because nobody likes a puzzle that's incomplete. So as you start to put these pieces together and see how they all fit well, then you start to see the greater picture and realize, oh my gosh, no matter how you look at it, we're 10-1.
Right.
It didn't feel good getting here. It felt painful to get here. But that pain it's called a growing pain. That pain is the most exponential part and beautiful part of this process. So I saw Tyrone Taleni crush it, and we knew he had it in him. I saw Nick Figueroa doing everything to hold it down. I saw Brandon Peely, who you're not going to hear his name. I saw
he was plugging it.
John Benton, who you're not going to hear his name called.
Yeah.
You know why? Because all they did was club and plug up the middle. Nothing came through the middle. Nothing came through.
Nothing came, man. They plugged that thing up, man.
Everything bounced because we had those two tanks in the middle shutting it down, and then our edge D linemen did their thing. They did their thing. Look, and number 47. Why is his name escaping me, man? I can't. Stanley. Yes, little bro.
Yeah, yes. He balled out, man. He looked good. They tried to get him with a target in. But his hands end up being like kind of pushing him to the front. So absolutely, man.
Excellent defensive line effort. Excellent defensive line.
Excellent.
Second level support from the linebacker core. Shane Lee, you showed us why you came to USC and why we need you there. I saw you, bro. I saw you run with a wheel route. I saw you run.
He did it.
Yes,
he did it, man. He did his thing last night.
Let him say you can't cover, bro. You cover just as well as any top linebacker in the country.
He balled out, man. All the misconceptions that everybody said about USC. First, about Alex Grinch. The scheme was beautiful last night. I love the scheme. And a couple of things that we said we need to capitalize on and we need to make sure we target when we come into this game was containing Charbonnet. So we've already established the fact that Charbonnet only had 95 yards rushing, and he's usually over 100 yards. That's number one. And then number two, we said we didn't want Bobo to be like the Utah tight end all over us. And he only had 4 receptions for 76 yards. And so his long was 31. So we really mission essentially is complete when we're talking about containing Charbonnet and then containing Bobo. DTR was kind of we just kind of let that go a little bit because it's hard to guard somebody like that when they're on their feet, when he's as mobile as he is. What you think about that?
He had his cape on last night. I mean, you knew this. Look, this was his last home game, right? Let's think about that, man. That's an emotional thing, bro.
Absolutely.
His last home game against this team, against his mortal enemies, according to him, he says, "We hate those guys on the other side of the town." So for him, you knew that there was no way you weren't going to get the highest level of competitive fire that young man could summon up. So the way I feel is, I think he earned the right to win that game.
Absolutely.
I believe DTR earned the right to be successful and have a victorious evening. And the truth is in and of himself, statistically, he was victorious, even though he threw a couple of picks. But that's scheme. That's scheme.
That's Alex Grinch.
that's really scheme to put guys in those windows in those situations. And for you guys who don't recognize that, you don't get these types of turnovers without scheme. You don't get these types of turnovers without it being put in place. And I saw DTR's mind scrambling to try
he looked confused when the camera zoomed in on him.
Yes, fix these equations. Like, you can read his lips sometimes, like trying to figure out what's happening. And when they would zoom in on him, you could see his eyes processing. And I said, that is because we're doing things that are creating confusion and second guessing. And honestly, they schemed us up at the end of the game too. When you see Caleb get a little like, whoa, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
That's because those guys were playing amazing defense. The commentators will say defense was optional in this game. This was just offense only. That's not true. You can't have a high caliber defensive game where there was 5 total turnovers in this game.
Right.
It was a defensive game.
Very. Even though it was a high scoring game, it was a defensive game.
Game.
Absolutely. Because you got to think about this. There were times where Caleb had, the analysts made reference to it. There were times where he had like a couple seconds in the pocket. I mean, just sitting there waiting. And then there were times where he didn't see where the blitz was coming, and all of a sudden the thing caved in on him. So yeah, absolutely, man. It was totally scheme, man. Totally scheme, man. And so
UCLA had a great overall game plan because they jumped out on us real bad. And that's a testament to the strength of what this is. Please, everybody, recognize the wonderful thing that we just experienced. Those of you who were able to watch it, if you haven't seen the game, watch it. Go find it. Go figure out how to watch that game, because we got our money's worth.
Big time, man.
I wish it was a better prime time slot. I wish College Game Day was there.
Oh, we don't even want to talk about that.
I wish that the athletes that we had an opportunity to showcase the wonderful talents that they had on the national stage right before it's time for postseason accolades. I wish all those things came into fruition. But at the same time, we can only control what we can control. We jumped out. We're 10-1. We came out victorious. I think we could have beat them by more. They could have beat us by more. And that's what makes this beautiful.
Absolutely. And so to your point, talking about College Game Day, they decided to go to Montana State against Montana, and it was freezing cold. They know, the good old Lee Corso. I posted something of him on my video, but it was too cold for anybody to be out there, man. And I mean, they decided to go there instead of coming to UCLA. It was packed out. It was full. And I mean, everybody who watched it and everybody who was there absolutely enjoyed themselves, man. Somebody put a question up real quick, and then we dealt with the defense, and then we're gonna move on to the offense. Is Oregon pose a better threat, or does Washington pose a better threat when we're talking about the Pac-12 championship? In your opinion?
Well, to be honest, they have very similar styles. So we didn't get to play either of them this season. I can't really think about Washington, actually, because we're not playing Washington. We're playing Oregon, right?
If Oregon State loses next week against Oregon, if Oregon loses against Oregon State, which is highly likely, it could happen. So
but Oregon. Oh, so Washington and Oregon, they have the same record?
Wait a minute. How many conference losses does?
No, Oregon has. They beat Utah, so Utah's out.
And they lost against Georgia, but they got they lost against Washington. So if Oregon State beats them,
but I think we're playing Oregon no matter what.
Okay, I got to get that because I think I see somebody in the comment. Washington lost against. I'm trying to think who they beat Oregon, but I'm trying to think who they lost against.
Washington lost against UCLA, right?
Yeah, at UCLA, right.
So they beat UCLA, so we beat that. We got that head to head or whatever. But
and they lost against somebody else.
And Washington has also lost against Utah, right?
They did lose against Utah.
I believe Utah. I got it.
No, they did. I think they did lose against Utah. So that means that okay. So if Oregon State,
you know,
Utah beat Oregon State. Utah beat Oregon State.
We'll double back.
We'll double back on that and try to make sure we get that straight. But yeah. So that's the defense, man. So the defense came up big. Let's talk about the offense because in the past live we did mention we talked about let's not have a slow start. Now I don't necessarily think we had a slow start. I think we just had some minor mistakes because if you notice we got down to the red zone twice. Yes. We moved the ball with absolute ease. Caleb was in control, and but it was a couple little things, man. Little youngster moves. Raleigh Brown, he could have got that first down the first time he had that ball, and he went lateral instead of going straight, man. And then Brandon Rice, it was a catch instead of in the end zone. He could have went to the outside shoulder instead of looking for the inside, and because the ball was actually right there. Those were 14 points, in my opinion, of course, in the red zone that we could have. What's your thoughts?
I agree. So I think Brendan knew.
Yeah, you could tell he knew.
You could tell, and that's a sign of accountability. Brendan also dropped a very critical third down to keep one of our drives alive. He also knew, and so when you have that type of a level of execution or lack thereof, because before that, I think Brendan could have 4 straight great receptions. So that's just still a part of like becoming a full, well-rounded player. And I got much love for Brendan Rice. He's helped us win many games. He's very
that one catch in the end zone where he caught it, where he tippy-toed in there.
He's a major, major part of the success and the DNA of this team. We still got to work on those third down conversions though, because we've been trusting him on third down because he can catch. We just need him to secure those balls. But because it didn't happen that way, you didn't really see much of Brendan the rest of the game. And you saw Kyle Ford come in, right? And you saw Kyle Ford really do what he did. He's been very a mainstay for us as a big body wide receiver.
Man, he is. I mean, that power catch in the end zone, man.
Yeah, you knew Caleb was gonna come back to that because he took a shot when they jumped off sides. He took a shot and it went over his head. And I said they're going to revisit that matchup because you could already see how the DB played that jump ball. And I knew that how a DB plays a jump ball is how a DB plays a jump ball.
Right.
It's like the DBs only got so much arsenal in their bag. Like the way I covered the same high floating balls is the way I cover the same high floating ball.
Right.
I can change it up a little bit, but like that's ultimately what my instincts are in those critical type moments. So I could tell right away. I said, oh yeah, they see how number 6, he doesn't attack the ball through the hands, but instead he kind of like, it's a different type of play. So I knew that if we had another jump ball opportunity, that Kyle would come down with it, and he proved to be true in a very clutch moment. Raleigh, you balled out. You had a great game, young man.
He
did. Just got to get your butt upfield, man. Hey,
that's it. That's it, man.
I watched you at Modern Day. I've seen you. I've prayed for you. I know you're from NorCal, and I know that your family, you took a shot by coming to USC. And I'm telling you, young man, it's going to pay off.
Absolutely.
It's going to pay off. And we'll be speaking about you as one of the greats, just like we do about a lot of the backs and those universal players that we get. But you got to understand that critical moment and get upfield for us. So
that goes back to what Herschel Dennis was saying. When Herschel Dennis was on here, he was saying how even with Reggie Bush, his freshman year, how he had to learn he had to tell Reggie, you can't do this, you can't do that, and he kind of had to mature within it. It's the same thing. Look, Raleigh got the juice. And for all those who think Raleigh don't have the juice, I know what I've seen in that young man. I know he got the juice. And once you start realizing you can't bounce it in and out, because from high school to college, man, that's a huge speed difference, man. That's saying it's not this, it's nowhere near the same. And
It's
so
the biggest speed difference. The NFL from college to the NFL is so-so. It's not that people say it's fast, but really the movement isn't that fast. It's the fact that all the players in the NFL just know where to be. They make less mistakes, in my opinion. But the high school to college game,
big difference.
When you're 17, 18 years old and you're playing against 21-year-olds and 22-year-olds, bro, that's hey, they fast, dog. They're fast, they're strong. They've been in the weight room 3-4 more years than you. So you can tell Raleigh, you think this is him being explosive? Nah, he's not even as explosive as he's going to be.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
overall, well done in making some clutch plays for us, though. We need you. We need you the rest of this way.
Yeah. So we got 128 people in here, man. Continue to hit that like button. Continue to hit that share button, man. And listen, Brian Jenkins says, no, if Oregon State beats Oregon, UW is going. So I kind of thought that, but I wasn't for sure because it's so many. Look, the Pac-12 got so much parity going on right now. It's not like the SEC, man, where you got all these major blowouts. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Glenn. We're gonna talk about him, but it's a major parity right now in the Pac-12, and I want to see. I hadn't checked it yet. It normally comes out close to this time of the AP. I just want to see in the coaches poll. I want to see exactly where they have USC right now. Glenn, to your point, let's get on Joe Clapp before we get to this offense. And there's nothing negative on him, but do you remember? You guys look on my Instagram, USCJ32, and Twitter, USCJ32. He said, "I do not understand." He put this post up. Why USC is ranked ahead of UCLA? You know, this is the media though, and when you hear things like that, when you see posts like that, all these guys, man, they got the seeing is believing. So it flows, it feeds the media, man. So now they understand what everybody else, well, some of us know about USC. John, what's your thoughts on that?
I personally think that these people who have been talking crap about USC, they need to actually publicly apologize. I believe they do, because it doesn't make any sense to have so much negative commentary on a team that's being successful. That is the thing that baffles me. That USC, their defense is abysmal.
I mean, every week they say that crap.
How can they continue to get multiple turnovers a game? It's not possible. What have we had one game without a turnover? We had one game without a turnover.
Yep.
One game without a turnover.
By the way, we're leading the country with 18 turnovers, the whole country right now.
That turnover differential.
Yeah.
But our total turnovers are like somewhere close, up almost 30 or so.
I think we're leading the country right now.
We are. We're definitely leading the country in total turnovers. So for those of you who say that our defense is not good, you do not lead the nation in turnovers and in certain defensive statistics like sacks, turnovers, quarterback hurries, tackles for losses. You don't lead the nation or the conference or be in the top 10% of the country in those statistical categories and at the same time be a bad defense. You may have struggles on defense according to the team that you play, but a bad defense is a defense that causes their team to lose. That because defense wins games. It does. They say defense wins championships. I agree, but defense wins games. Offenses score points. Defenses win games, because the thing is you can score on defense, but as an offensive player, you can't stop another team from scoring. So what I need everyone to understand is when our defense allows for us to have more points on the board than the other team, that's a defensive win.
Absolutely.
That's a defensive win.
Absolutely.
And our defense has done enough this season, including in the 1L that we have. They also did enough to win that game. Unfortunately, they weren't rewarded for the efforts of their gameplay in all those moments. But here's what I'm gonna say: we are SC, and our
SC and 10-1, baby. 10-1.
Our defense statistically may not look lavish, but when it comes to yards given up or even points given up, but the teams that are putting up these points are putting them up against everybody. the teams that are blowing up the scores, they're blowing them up against every team that they play. And I believe that if they played other conferences, that the Pac-12 right now is the strongest conference in the country.
Hands down.
To me, from top
hands
to
down.
From
hands
top.
down. I mean, look, Vanderbilt beat Florida yesterday. I'm tired. I don't want to hear about it no more. Yeah. I'm tired of hearing about the SEC. I don't want to hear about it. Yep. Vanderbilt beat Florida.
Yep.
South Carolina blew the brakes off of Tennessee yesterday.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, all these teams, man, they just look so unbalanced, man. It's just ridiculous, man.
Not only that, but we got the best quarterbacks, bar none, in the country.
Easily.
Look, let's talk about all the Heisman people, names that they mentioned from the Pac-12.
Exactly.
Penix from Washington could get the Heisman.
Sure.
Bo Nix could get the Heisman.
BTR
could get the Heisman. Let's talk about they didn't talk about Dellar winning the Heisman, but they said that he's a Heisman type player.
He's up there.
His future, right? They talked about the kid from Stanford. I forget his name right now.
Yeah.
But they were mentioning him Heisman first round type quarterback. Let's talk about
even Cam Ward, man.
Cam Ward, that's it.
Yeah,
Cam Ward. They're talking. His name was in the Heisman, and then our very own Caleb Williams' name was in the Heisman. Name a conference?
But hey, Jay, this is why I said if we could just win out and we could just get to the playoffs, I don't think we're gonna face anybody. I really don't think we're gonna face another offense. You tell me. I mean, that the ones that's up there right now, Michigan's not gonna be that offense.
No.
Oh, I don't think Ohio State's gonna be that offense.
No.
I don't think TCU's gonna be that offense. I look at them.
I think they're terrified to actually see us out there with all our horses. I think that they're nervous to see the Trojan horse.
Man, they got to be nervous right now, man, because what they showed, and we're going to get on this offense now that we on it, what they showed yesterday, man, like who in the world can stop USC other than USC right now making mistakes when you're talking about from an offensive perspective. Now, you like this he says, USCJ, how about Austin Jones? Man, listen, Austin Jones, I mean, he was just balling, man. He was so fluid, and you can see the more a running back, you guys know, a running back needs to get in the rhythm. And, man, it looks like the more he kept going, the more he was just finding those holes, and the more he got in the rhythm, it looked like he was just flowing with the rhythm of the game, man. And I love what I've seen from Austin Jones, man. What you think, Big J?
The running back position it's the initial is an RB. It's about rhythm and beat, rhythm and balance. The R&B, and the more carries and touches a guy could get, the more he can fall in rhythm with the game. The more he can start to synchronize his breathing with the pace and the tempo of the game. We've always known Austin was a beast. He was a baller at Stanford. He was their starting running back for 2 years, and he ran all over USC when he played us. So I'm like, this young man has always had the talent to play well. He also had to learn a new system and a new scheme, new pass pro. I think it takes a while to mature into the fluidity of what is necessary to compete at a high level. It just does. And then when you're splitting time and you're getting half the carries, half the touches, half the reps than you normally would, it's tough to get impatient.
Yeah, very tough.
It's tough. And that's why it was so amazing that Michael Jackson, against Utah, he just got thrown out there when Jordan got hurt.
Yeah.
He was like, I've been ready for this. Let's go. Let me get on a spin cycle and moonwalk into this end zone. But we got guys across the board that are executioners. Look at Barlow. Whoa, did he bring the boom?
Did you see that clip I put on my Instagram?
No, I haven't. But all I'm going to say is I hate that you haven't got as many touches as you deserve. I really
that guy, man, what he did, and it was only like a 5-yard run. But my God, what he did, that going over to the left, man, what was it, toss sweep or off the tackle? But man, he put that head down, and when you talk about laying some wood right in the end zone, Barlow put the head down on that dude, man.
I love him getting that ball out in the open field, spinning, boom, cracking the dude.
Yeah.
Keep the feet going, finish on his feet and run out of bounds. I'm like, yeah. And then he was hyped. He was like,
He was hyped. He was hyped, man.
Let's go. And you know what? That's a guy that right now, if he stayed where he was, he would be on an undefeated TCU team.
Absolutely.
So it's crazy because we got to really pay, acknowledgement to the athletes who decided to rock with us. We got to pay respect and tribute to the people who decided to wear the cardinal and gold and be a part of this journey with us. And that's including our coaches and all the people that come along for the ride. But like, let's have a very holistic mindset about this whole season. Like, we complain a lot, man. We complain a lot. Like when I was at SCP, people said we was the University of Spoiled Children. That's what they say. We just complain. We be fun, and a lot of those complaints come because we have expectations, we have high aspirations, and we have a certain level of like the demand that we have for our culture. But at the same time, we really, really can't. We can't be so future oriented and right now oriented that we want success right now, that we don't see like the beauty and the process of becoming what we were. Because again, I played for a 6-6 team at USC. We were 6-6 my first year with Coach Pete Carroll. And guess who our defensive coordinator was? We was getting blown out by teams. We were 6-6. We were getting smoked by teams. Now imagine if our coach said, you know, this defense sucks. We can't do it. You're fired. We would have never had Coach Ogeron anymore.
Wow. Yeah.
Because that was our defensive coordinator.
Yep. And that's what that's what we've been over the past few weeks. We've been trying to place emphasis on. Grinch knows what he's doing right now. And I don't want too much hatred or listening to these Oklahoma fans, because like I said, I have not seen anything about Grinch until the Oklahoma fans start bringing that information over. I didn't even know about Grinch like that. I wasn't too much well schooled on him. Yeah. But then once they started getting in our comment section, I started hearing people talk about him. And man, listen, I told you guys before that if the 3-3-5 is ran correctly, you know, like he did at Washington State, you're going to see some confusion. You're going to see some athletes flying all over the field, and you're going to see the quarterback getting confused. And we've seen this last night being implemented on the highest level, man. What's your thoughts, John?
And that right there, I mean, look, man, Grinch understands the psychology of turnovers. He understands the psychology of confusing and off-time plays. That's a unique style of defense. I'm not saying he's the greatest in the world, but I'm telling you that he's got a certain level of brilliance that we overlook because it doesn't feel and look the way we want it to. It's not the type of defense that is designed to blow guys out. That's the truth. It's designed to score points. It's designed to get the ball back to the offense. And I know that that's what Coach Riley knows. Coach Riley understands that the defense that we play is a turnover-oriented defense. It's a scheme-oriented defense that allows for the defense to steal possessions, to return the ball back to our offense. When you have two people who are on the same page and know how to coach off of one another, that's when it's good synergy. And we have a defensive coach and coordinator who understands how to put the ball back in the hands of our offensive guru. And that's why we're able to score as many points as we have. The reason these other teams don't score points is because their offense don't have the ball. Our defense gets us the ball back.
Yes.
Often, our secondary people are becoming noteworthy, name-worthy. You know our defensive players' names because they've been making plays. They've been getting turnovers. They've been creating disruption to where you can hear their name being called out. That's what the Riley Grinch offense and defensive scheme does. You can look at all these great defenses and probably name two other defensive players. You can look at our defense and name at least 9 guys because
they got impact, major impact.
You've been hearing their names being impactful all season long, and that's because situationally, based on whatever team we're playing, one position group or one type of player is going to have an opportunity to highlight themselves. Let's recognize this, and I'm seeing the game within the game. The defense is not designed to stop people from absolutely moving the ball. The defense is designed to take the ball away. And that's why the commentary throughout the season was, it's impossible for USC to keep this up where they can get so many turnovers. Eventually, they're going to crack. Eventually. And you know what? We've had some moments where, yeah, our bend but don't break was a whole lot of bending. It was a whole lot of bending, right? I never thought we broke against Utah in that game we lost. I never thought we broke against Cal when they really gave their best season effort. I never thought we broke against Arizona when they gave their best season effort. I definitely didn't see us fold when we played UCLA last night when they had guys playing like their heart out. We haven't folded
at all.
We haven't. And
we hadn't even lost by 7 points this year. I mean, think about that.
Trying to tell you, man.
We haven't lost against by 7 points. We lost this year only one time, and it's been by 1 point. And that's, you got to think about that, man. You got to factor in some defense when you're talking about that. And I see somebody just posted in here about the top. I think we're top 5 now. So listen, this is all we got to do when you're talking about USC at this point, because Ohio State and Michigan, we're gonna focus on Notre Dame. But I'm just want to let you guys know how close we are right now. We are close right now. And if we went out big against Notre Dame next week, and then went out big in the Pac-12 championship, if we're ranked number 5 right now, Michigan, Ohio State, they're about to knock each other out. So we could possibly move up into the top 4. And listen, like I told you guys,
Georgia LSU, right? They still got to play Georgia LSU.
Yeah, but they definitely got to play. But I'm saying right now, I think the AP poll, I'm gonna go back and look at it. Somebody just put it up that we're number 5 right now, and I'm gonna go back and look when we get off. But if we're number 5, we're in prime position right now with those guys knocking each other out, because all of us got to play Pac-12 conference championships. So if we do that and we handle business, and I told you, we don't have a team, in my opinion, that's like an Oregon from an offensive perspective, like a UCLA, like a Utah, like a Washington State, like an Arizona. We have been facing some crazy offenses this year and been successful. So moving on. Your thoughts on that real quick, John, before we talk about Caleb and
You nailed it. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Caleb Williams had 32. He went 32 for 43. I'm sorry, I'm looking at 32 for 43, 470 yards. That's almost 500 yards passing. I think he went 508 total. What's your thoughts? I mean, did Caleb solidify himself as the Heisman front runner, in your opinion, in this game?
Without a doubt. Name another player on that stage that across the country that had that productivity, that won the game, that led their team to victory, and has done that for 3-4 weeks in a row. That has done. Look, man, y'all better recognize the beauty that we have, the greatness that we have in our quarterback. He's brilliant.
He's different, man.
I played with Carson Palmer and Matt Leinart. I played with also a quarterback that was great that most people don't really know about was Matt Castle.
He's a baller.
He was a great quarterback. I also played with Mark Sanchez and John David Booty. So I've had the ability in my college career at USC to play with some of the most legendary quarterbacks that ever strapped them up. I think Caleb has more talent than all of them overall.
And that's not blasphemy at all, man.
Not. Now, here's what I'm saying about that, because to me, Carson Palmer will probably be my for all-time favorite quarterback for all time, because he was the first guy that I ever looked at was like, whoa, right? That's Carson Palmer, and he was a real leader. Matt Leinart was he was a winner. That's what Matt Leinart was, a winner, and could figure out, and that's what made him brilliant. Caleb has the same ingredients as Matt Leinart, has the same leadership as Carson Palmer, but with the speed and athleticism of some of our other legendary guys. Like we really have never had a quarterback that's athletic like this. They say Rodney Peete, but Rodney Peete couldn't do what Caleb. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, let's appreciate what we have while we have it, and really, really let's relish this moment and bask in it. Bask in the fact that God blessed our team. He blessed our team.
Really blessed, man. Who was that Caleb Williams when he was on the run last night? He scrambled a little bit. Who was that he threw? I mean, the window was like this. The window was about like this, and Caleb stuck that ball in there, man. And I'm like, how in the world was that? Taj Washington?
Taj has got the sticky.
How in the world did he catch that? And then, if you look early on when Caleb was hitting Jordan Addison in stride, man, it's another thing. If a receiver has to catch the ball, like this, but when he's able to catch it like this, that means he's running underneath it and he's coming in stride. And he was able to he didn't have to break stride. He was able. And man, look, let's talk about Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
Did he show us something last night?
Welcome back, baby. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Jordan Addison.
Hey,
Jordan Addison, let me look at these numbers real quick. He went 11 for 178 yards. Long was 48-yard touchdown. Jordan Addison, 11 receptions, 178. Unbelievable, man. He had a game last night.
He's the best receiver in the country, and he still is injured. He still is not. He's about rolling at 80-something%, they said. Like, in-house is probably even less than that. But at the same time, he even left the game he was limping again. So
yeah.
Hopefully
I seen him go out at the end of the game.
Yeah. So
I wasn't for sure exactly what happened. Hopefully he's okay for next week.
I agree, but yeah, Jordan Addison he's solidified again. To me, he's missed all these games, and it don't seem like he missed anything. He's still the best receiver in the country.
Yeah. So while we on Caleb, like I said, he went for 470 yards. He hit just about every receiver yesterday. He hit Addison for 11 for 178. He hit Ford. Ford went strong, 3 for 73 yards. His long was 49 yards. He hit Austin Jones yesterday, 4 receptions, 57 yards. His long was 29 yards. He hit Jackson, Michael Jackson, 3 receptions, 42 yards. I mean, this thing was so balanced. It was so balanced. His long was 22. Taj Washington, 3 receptions, 39 yards. Then Brendan Rice, 3 receptions, 34 yards. Raleek Brown, 3 receptions, 27 yards. Mario Williams, 1 for 15. And then Bynum, 1 for 5. What's your thoughts on how this is the first game we see all these other guys with Addison and everybody else get these yards like this and be able to, Caleb hit everybody. What's your thoughts on that?
Feeding frenzy. It's a feeding frenzy. It's a carousel it's an all-you-could-eat buffet of wide receivers out there eating, bro. I love it. I love it. It's like, hey, that's why I know that when we go to Vegas and we play this Pac-12 championship, it's gonna be a buffet out there.
A buffet, man.
We're gonna line up at the Vegas buffet and just eat. And Caleb gonna be dishing out. He gonna be dishing them out. Like this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's so exciting. It's the greatest show on turf. I don't care.
It is, man. This is crazy.
It is phenomenal. It's fast. It's explosive. It's not boring. Every game gives you excitement, drama. You get character. You get charisma. Ridiculous highlights. Heisman level efforts on both sides of the ball. Both teams usually have some type of Heisman caliber effort. You got great coaching where they're really, you can see the chess match. You can see the mental and emotional sparring that's happening. That's what this is doing. That's what USC brings. And I dare have to say that's what the Pac-12 brings.
Absolutely.
But if the officials would just stay out of it and let them play like they did last night, they let the boys play.
They let them play, man.
And that's what made the game fun. And
Caleb was methodical. He was just locked in, man. It's like, some players, they got the hype. Some players don't all the way live up to the hype. But this guy, man, Caleb is like, he wants this moment. He's asking for this moment. He's waiting on this moment. And when the moment approaches, Caleb seizes the moment. And as a result, he capitalizes on the moment.
He doesn't shrink.
He doesn't, man.
He rises up, and he's a giant. And you can tell it's all small to a giant. And yes, I do think Kyle Ford has deserved a starting position. I really do.
Yeah, Kyle's the man. He looked extremely strong, man. And he's actually faster than what I really even realized, man. You can see him actually breaking away from people. But what he did, that catch on the end zone, how strong he looked, man, he was pretty. That was so impressive to me, man, when I seen Kyle Ford.
So impressive. Yeah.
So man.
We could talk for this. This show could be 3 hours, man.
Man, look, we got 150 people in here right now, man.
Oh, yeah. Right on, everybody.
Right on, everybody. We got 154 people. Let me make that correction. Let me respond to Arthur real quick. Arthur Sanders said, we will, I think we already have jumped. I hadn't looked at it. We will jump LSU, and I think rightfully so. We should jump LSU based on our performance. If they're doing it week by week, I think based on our performance, because it looked like I seen it in the beginning of the game, even though they blew them out, they played against UAB last night, and it was a kind of a suspect score with them. But I absolutely think we should. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes, any team that doesn't have the productivity that we have, I don't think they need to be above us. Like How they always ask, well, how could USC be in this? They can't hang with any of the SEC teams. They can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. And I'm looking at these guys over the last few weeks. I'm like, Michigan hasn't even put up 40 points in the last almost 3 games combined or something like that. Neither has Ohio State. If my memory's correct, they've had some like really, really underwhelming performances. And I don't hate on teams. I'm just looking at the numbers out there. And I'm looking at how can that Ohio State team outscore us? Because I don't think any defense can stop our team at this.
I don't think so either.
If it was the same USC that played against Oregon State, okay, all right, we would struggle. We are not that same team.
Right.
We have grown. Our offensive line has matured. We don't have the same injuries that we had on the offensive line. We don't have the same. Even though we lost our star running back, we've proven that we have other star running backs. Like all of the receivers now have had an opportunity to have real game speed reps and understand how to capitalize in these moments. I truly, truly, truly don't think that there's a defense in this country that can actually stop us.
I'm 100% with you. And one of the things that and we're gonna get out of here. We've been here an hour, man. Time goes by fast when you're having fun. But one of the things I wanted to reiterate that we talked about in the past was USC plays to their competition, and we've seen that in some of the games, and they rose up for the competition last night, man. They rose up in a major way. And I think a lot of people were concerned. Listen, does this make your concern go away for USC that they can rise to the occasion when the time is needed? I mean, they rose up in a major way. I don't think nobody none of us really. I felt I had the confidence, but nobody really just kind of knew what to expect. Whether we're going to be up, whether we're going to be down. What's your thoughts on that, John?
So here's the thing. We were trailing early in this game, and I've seen USC teams in the last 10 years or so buckle under that type of pressure. Easily buckle. I've seen them not rise up. So on the flip side of that, what I'd like to say is I was listening to the commentary post-game when you're listening to all the sports shows and they're talking about the highlights, and four very reputable sports outlets were saying UCLA kept rising to the challenge.
It was crazy.
Hey, bro, let me land my plane on this one because I was listening to this jump. Yeah, USC was hitting them in the mouth, and UCLA was just answering back blow for blow, and UCLA never stopped fighting. And they showed DTR highlights and how heroic he was, and he was heroic. He had an injury or some tape on his hand, yeah. But look, bro, we were losing that game. We were down. We were trailing. We had to come back after halftime. They led at half. We ended up having to get 2 back-to-back interceptions on drives in order to put ourselves within 1 point differential. We had to do that. We had to show our resolve. We had to show our young kicker that it's okay. You missed these 2 major, major kicks, but we're going to need you. We're going to need you. And here's the trip. We probably would have lost this game if Chip Kelly didn't call timeout before we kicked that ball out.
Yeah, with that field goal.
Woo! Because we missed it. We missed it. And Chip, he overthought himself. He overthought himself because he called timeout right before we kicked it. They tried to ice us, and we were short. That returner could have returned that ball. I think it would have been trouble.
Man.
Because he caught it right there, open field, and we didn't have our strong. We had a kicking unit out there. Homie would have been gone down the sideline.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, we got to kick it again. And then Lynch got to calm himself down, get the initial nerves out. I think he even took a half scooch back too. Then he got more leg, and we drilled it right to close out the half, and we went in down 1. That was the momentum shift that we needed to give our guys what we needed to come back to the second half.
Yeah.
That was
Listen,
crazy.
We're gonna get up. Yeah, that's an incredible point. And I think too, before we go, I think too, we got to feel very confident that, like I said, we've gotten to the red zone twice and then score. And that wasn't on UCLA. That was on USC. So I think we should feel confident the fact that we could have more points on the board, and that should just let you know where we at right now as far as peaking. USC is, remember, Lincoln Riley said November is the month. And right now, USC is absolutely peaking right now. We've seen a peak performance last night. Yeah. USC is peaking in all the right areas right now. And as a result, we about to see some stuff. I think we got 166 people in here, man. Y'all continue to hit that like button. I appreciate everybody. But listen, we're going to get out of here, man. And if anybody opposed, I haven't talked to you about this yet. I know I'm available on Thursday, but I know Thursday's Thanksgiving. But we'll talk about that because we want to be able to try to get it early, man, to where we could talk about this Notre Dame. This is Notre Dame week coming up. John and I talk about this. You guys hit us in the comment section. I don't know what you're going to be doing, John. I haven't even talked to you about this. It just hit my mind.
Yeah.
So
hey, we can do early Thursday while they can listen to us while they're basting that turkey and putting that.
Absolutely, man. Because somebody gonna be eating some cranberry sauce, and it's gonna be some people lost in the sauce anyway. The cranberry sauce, man. So you guys hit us. Let me see in these comment sections real quick. If you guys are opposed to Thursday doing a review, we can get that review early in the morning. Get it out the way. That way you guys can get your biscuits, gravy, cranberry sauce, and all that stuff, man, and get it out the way. And we about to get out of here. Let me know. I'm about to try to see these comments real quick. We can make it on Thursday. We can make it on Thursday. Let me scroll up here.
Good.
Friday. You said Friday, man, huh?
Friday.
One guy said Friday.
Hey, big bro, can I show you guys something?
Yeah.
If you see it on my story, go to my Instagram and look at my story. But I wear this only once a year, every UCLA game. Watch this. Watch this. Look at it. This is my rivalry jacket. Did UCLA?
Yeah.
Then I got the little spray paint on it with the Bruin crossed out, and it says, "We're just better." It says,
yeah.
Don't be mad.
I like that.
Don't be mad. And
I like that.
Right there on the back, baby.
I like that.
Hey,
that's tight. So man, that's tight.
I was wearing this boy last night. But here's the thing: the last 3 times I've worn this, UCLA beat us. So I say,
well, you changed the guard last night of that. You changed it last night, man.
Oh, I'm so happy.
You changed it last night. Hey, go ahead and bear hug that thing, man.
I gave it a Bruin hug. It's a bear hug.
Give it to it, man. So look, man. Brian says Thursday. Chris says Thursday. Big Black says Thursday. So USC Football for Life says Thursday and Friday. Gilbert says Thursday. It looked like it's a consensus here. Just tell us what time on Thursday. Jay, what time is good for you Thursday?
I'll be solid as long as it's as long as it's early enough.
Okay. Look, man. So we can hit it. We can hit it about 9:30. We want to get it out the way because they got NFL games anyway later on that day. So 9:30. 9:30 West Coast. East Coast is gonna be 12:30 this Thursday. Look for us. We're gonna review Notre Dame. We're gonna preview Notre Dame, and we're gonna talk about it. All right. So listen. I'm coming back tomorrow. Lincoln threw up the deuce. We got to recruit. We got somebody going. We got to figure out. I got to figure out who this is. I'm coming back with the video. Listen, we're going to start seeing all the recruits come now. The transfer portal recruits. The transfer portal opened up December 3rd. It's about to be go time for real. USC got major momentum right now. John, last words before we get up out of here.
Yeah, man. Also, get ready to lose some players too, for sure, man. Just because that's the byproduct of the competition. So let's whatever it is. I've been encouraging you guys to just be positive about our team and to have a general spirit of love. Keep that because that energy, it transcends. I saw some people encouraging Corey Foreman on his message boards. I saw it. I saw people giving him love on his page.
Yeah.
Look what happened. Look what happened.
Yeah.
Look what happened when you lead with love
instead
of criticism and shaming people. Look what happens. That guy is the hero of the game. And you all screamed and you all jumped up and you all did that. I guarantee you when he got that pick, you all got the same goosebumps I got. That was Corey Foreman. Yeah, let's go.
Hey, I was lost in the sauce when I seen that. Do you hear me? My mouth was wide open. Hey, man, I got on my knees. I just say, thank you, Jesus. I just started praying, man, like, thank you. This was a miracle.
I know you couldn't jump because you got that boot on. So
I got the back of the jump. I hopped, man. I hopped. You hear me? I straight up hopped. I mean, unbelievable. So look, man, we appreciate everybody, man. So we'll be back Thursday, 9:30. 9:30. West Coast, East Coast is gonna be 12:30. Awesome. So look, man, we appreciate everybody, man. Continue to share this video. We got we've been on an hour and 9 minutes. We got to get out of here. So listen, man, until Thursday, and I'll be back tomorrow doing some stuff. Listen, continue to fight on, fight on, fight on.